There exists a singular transformative moment, a threshold that, once crossed, irrevocably alters our understanding of reality. This moment is not heralded by fanfare or visible upheaval, but rather it manifests in the quietude that beckons from the depths of our being. It is a juncture that invites us to halt our ceaseless quest for meaning and surrender to the experience unfolding within us. What follows is an exploration of such a moment, a pause so profound that it invites the entire universe to whisper its secrets. In this pivotal split second, something extraordinary happens, something so subtle yet so revolutionary that it shifts the very fabric of reality as we've known it. It's as if, in this moment, the relentless chatter of the mind, with its constant judgments, distinctions, and separations, pauses. In that pause, the curtain of duality is pulled back, revealing the stage of pure awareness on which the drama of life unfolds. Let's frame this using the familiar dynamics of subject and object, the observer and the observed, as we often do when we talk about looking or perceiving. Normally, we experience life through this lens of separation. I am the subject here, and the world out there is the object. I look at the world, interact with it, try to understand it. But in the instant of awakening, this division collapses. It's not that the subject and object merge in a conventional sense. Rather, the underlying truth that they were never separate to begin with becomes startlingly apparent. This shift can be likened to a camera lens that zooms out from a tight focus on a single figure to reveal an entire landscape. The figure, the subject, and the landscape, the object, were always part of the same scene, but the focus on separation obscured the complete picture. In the moment of awakening, it's as if consciousness zooms out, and in doing so, the distinction between subject and object vanishes. You realize with a clarity that feels both shocking and utterly natural that the you who is looking and the world that is observed are expressions of the same undivided awareness. This realization is radical. It's a direct knowing, beyond intellectual understanding, that consciousness or awareness is the single, unchanging reality behind all of existence. Everything else, thoughts, sensations, perceptions, is a modulation of this consciousness, waves on the vast ocean that is awareness. You, the person you've always taken yourself to be, are not a separate entity navigating an external world, but a unique expression of this all-encompassing awareness. Imagine watching a movie so immersive that you forget yourself, lost in the story unfolding on the screen. For a while, the characters' joys and sorrows are your own, their world is your reality. Then suddenly the movie stops and you remember where you are. The shift at the moment of spiritual awakening is somewhat similar, but infinitely more profound. The movie of life, with its dualities and divisions, pauses, and you realize that you are not just a character in the story, but also the screen on which the story is projected. More accurately, you are the awareness within which the movie of existence is playing out. In this realization, the mind doesn't blend out in a conventional sense of becoming unaware or unconscious. Instead, it's a transcendence of the mind's usual mode of operation, its habitual carving up of the world into me and not me, subject and object. The mind, for a brief, luminous moment, recognizes its source in pure awareness and, in doing so, transcends its own limitations. This is not an experience of nothingness or a void, but of fullness, a direct encounter with the infinite and undivided nature of reality. It's like suddenly finding yourself at the center of a vast expanse, aware in every direction without a center or edge. This boundless awareness is not cold or impersonal, it's suffused with the warmth of inherent knowing, a silent affirmation of being that is both immensely intimate and universally expansive. In practical terms, this awakening doesn't whisk you away from the world. You remain in it, but your relationship with it transforms. The trees, the sky, the streets, the people around you, everything is seen in a new light. They are no longer objects out there, but vibrant expressions of the same consciousness you are. The sense of otherness fades, replaced by a profound connection and unity with all that is. The repercussions of this shift are deep and lasting. Fear, loneliness, and the sense of isolation can dissolve, because it becomes clear that you are never truly separate from the rest of existence. Compassion flows naturally because you see yourself in others, understanding that any distinction is only at the level of form, not essence. Your actions, motivations, and relationships begin to realign with this understanding, often leading to a life that reflects more closely the values of unity, love, and harmony. So, my friend, in that split second of awakening, when the mind blends out, what really happens is a homecoming. It's a recognition not of something new, but of something eternal, something that's always been the case, though we've been looking elsewhere. Consider spending a lifetime sending letters to a distant friend, only to understand that the friend has been living in the same town, awaiting our realization. This shift in consciousness is a remembering of our true nature, a nature that is not confined to the limited perspectives of the individual self, but is expansive, interconnected, and whole. In the aftermath of this awakening, the way we navigate life undergoes a profound transformation. The things that once seemed of utmost importance might lose their grip, and what was overlooked may shine forth with new significance. The pursuit of happiness, once an external quest, becomes an inward journey of realizing the peace and contentment that have been inherent within us all along. However, it's important to recognize that this moment of awakening isn't the end of the road. It's more like a gate opening to a path that requires continual walking. The conditioning and patterns of a lifetime don't vanish overnight. They may resurface, and when they do, the challenge and opportunity is to meet them with the same awareness that illuminated that split second of awakening. This is the work of integrating the realization into every aspect of our lives, allowing it to mature and deepen over time. In day-to-day life, this means engaging with the world from a place of centeredness and presence, rather than being driven by the reactive patterns of the ego. It's about seeing the sacred in the mundane, recognizing the underlying unity in diversity, and approaching each moment with openness and curiosity. The distinction between spiritual and secular blurs as every action, no matter how ordinary, becomes imbued with a sense of reverence and interconnectedness. This journey is not without its challenges. The ego, with its need for control and recognition, doesn't dissolve easily. There can be moments of backsliding, of forgetting and remembering again. But each time we remember, each time we come back to that awareness of our fundamental unity with all existence, the understanding goes deeper, becomes more stable and accessible, even amidst the chaos of everyday life. Remember, my friend, in the grand tapestry of existence, every thread is vital, every pattern interwoven with infinite care. This journey of awakening is a shared one. Every smile, every act of kindness, every moment of genuine connection is a step towards a more awakened world. It's like we're all threads in this incredible tapestry of life, and as each of us wakes up, the whole tapestry vibrates with a little more light, a little more love.
Enlightenment, my story. One day, I was home alone, sitting on the sofa. It was daytime, and I felt calm. Since I was drawn to non-duality and awakening stories, I watched a YouTube clip from Rupert Spira. As a side note, I have experienced several synchronicities for many years, appearing in the form of 2222 and 22 on clocks and tickets, among others. I think this led me to become interested in the spiritual world, Anyway, he was talking about the subject-object relation that we, as humans, have in our everyday life experiences. The human experience consists of you, the subject, living in a world of objects that includes other people, trees, houses, cars, animals, and so on. Everything in this world happens to you. As a person in this world, you have to pull some strings and take action in your life to make it a good experience from your point of view. Rupert also described looking at objects in detail. He went deeper into describing the one looking at objects and the objects themselves. Where does the observing start? Is it in the brain, or does it perhaps start from the object when it reflects light from the sun or other lights? Or is it starting somewhere in between you and the object? At that point, I was very close to the shift we describe as being in oneness, non-duality, awake. I knew from before that to be in stillness, one must be in the one consciousness, higher self, or awareness. When Rupert talked about observing in that way, the borders between the observer and the observed quickly blurred, and all became just one awareness. My consciousness and the objects around me became one. I was it. Just this. I remember bursting out in laughter that lasted several minutes. At the same time, I felt as if I was coming home to a well-known place, and that moved me to tears simultaneously. There I sat on the sofa in the middle of the day, looking at the table, flowers, and the windows, and all was me. All things were just sitting there, vibrating with life. Every object was silently screaming, "Here I am life, it is me." I walked up to the mirror in the same room, looking at my face, with tears falling from my eyes, still laughing. I don't know how many minutes I had the glimpse, but my mind or ego was again taking over, and I quickly wrote a note in order to remember what had just happened. The note was, "It is just this." From that day, my perspective on life has changed. It has been years since this happened. Certain interests that had previously taken a big part of my life now seem to be fading away. I read somewhere that after an ego death or glimpse of enlightenment, there will be a falling away of conditioning, leading the way for you to get nearer to your true self, your soul's purpose. And that journey starts from enlightenment and cannot be stopped. It surely seems to be happening to me. But of course, it is hard to distinguish your closing gap to the higher self happening by itself from the mind and what it can do, believing all this is true. But maybe it is the same thing. All this can sometimes be confusing. If some of you listening to this have experienced something similar, please write a comment. It would be interesting to hear your story. It can be a lonely place, having gone through something like this. Your closest friends or family might not understand what has happened to you. They might also wonder why you have changed in some ways. So that was my story about my glimpse. I will end this video by saying the words again. It is just this.
Greetings, fellow traveler. I can see it in your eyes. You are searching. Perhaps you have felt it, a faint whisper in the quiet moments of your day, a tug at your soul that there is something more, something deeper than the endless parade of thoughts and emotions that define our daily existence. You are on the cusp of a great revelation, a profound awakening. And yet, the irony is that what you seek is so simple, so within your reach, that when you finally grasp it, you will laugh at the sheer simplicity of it all. Imagine standing in the heart of a dense forest, feeling the soft earth beneath your feet and the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. You look up at the canopy of trees above, and for a moment, everything else dissolves. The worries, the stress, the constant chatter of your mind. In that fleeting second, you are not separate from the forest. You are part of it, one with it. This is the essence of spiritual enlightenment, a state of oneness so simple to attain that it eludes us precisely because we expect it to be complex. Our minds are trained to seek, to analyze, to compartmentalize. We are taught that the answers to life's biggest questions lie somewhere out there, in the vast unknown, accessible only through great effort and struggle. But what if I told you that the ultimate truth is not found in the distant reaches of the cosmos, but right here, in the simplicity of your being? What if the key to enlightenment is not in doing more, but in being less, in shedding the layers of ego and pretense that obscure the light within? Consider this. The ego is like a thick fog that surrounds you, distorting your perception of reality. It thrives on separation, me versus you, us versus them, subject versus object. The ego constantly seeks to define and categorize, to assert its dominance by creating boundaries and distinctions. Yet, in doing so, it blinds you to the fundamental truth that we are all interconnected, all part of the same cosmic dance. Think about a moment when you were completely absorbed in an activity, perhaps painting, playing music, or simply watching a beautiful sunset. In that moment, there was no separation between you and the experience. You were not an observer, but a participant, fully immersed in the flow of life. This is the state of oneness, where the ego dissolves, and all that remains is pure, unadulterated being. The journey to this state is not one of adding more layers, but of peeling them away. It is about recognizing the simplicity of your true nature, which is always present, always accessible. The mind, in its complexity, cannot grasp this simplicity because it is conditioned to believe that enlightenment is a distant goal, achievable only through intense effort and discipline. But the reality is that enlightenment is your natural state, the ground of your being. It is so close, so intimate, that you miss it precisely because you are looking too hard. Imagine holding a small object in your hand, a pebble perhaps. If you clutch it tightly, it becomes a source of tension and discomfort. But if you open your hand and simply let it rest on your palm, it becomes part of you, an extension of your being. The same is true for enlightenment. When you stop grasping, stop trying to force it into a conceptual framework, it naturally unfolds before you. You might ask, how do I let go of the ego? How do I achieve this state of oneness? The answer, my friend, is both simple and profound. By being present. The present moment is the gateway to enlightenment. It is in the here and now that the ego loses its grip, for the ego cannot exist without the constructs of past and future. When you fully inhabit the present moment, you transcend the dualities that the ego creates, and you step into the boundless realm of pure awareness. Let me share with you a story. Once, a seeker came to a wise sage and asked, "How can I find enlightenment?" The sage smiled and replied, "Have you ever looked at a flower, truly looked at it?" The seeker was puzzled but nodded. "When you look at a flower," the sage continued, "without naming it, without judging it, without thinking about it, when you simply see it as it is, in that moment, you are enlightened. Because in that moment, there is no separation between you and the flower. There is only oneness." This story illustrates the profound simplicity of enlightenment. It is not a distant peak to be scaled, but a subtle shift in perception, a return to your natural state of being. It is recognizing that you are not a separate entity moving through the world, but a vital part of the world itself, an expression of the same life force that animates all of existence. So, my dear friend, let go of the idea that enlightenment is hard to achieve. It is only hard because the mind makes it so. In reality, it is as natural as breathing, as effortless as being. Allow yourself to be present, to be open, to be receptive. Notice the moments when the ego falls away, when you are lost in a beautiful piece of music, when you are gazing at the stars, when you are sharing a heartfelt conversation with a loved one. In these moments, you are touching the essence of enlightenment. the state of oneness that is your true nature. And when you finally get it, when the simplicity of it all dawns upon you, you will laugh. Not a laugh of mockery or disbelief, but a laugh of pure joy and liberation. You will laugh at the realization that what you were seeking was always right here, within you, hidden in plain sight. You will laugh at the beauty and simplicity of life, at the profound truth that the mind, in all its complexity, could never grasp. Remember, enlightenment is not a destination, but a journey back to yourself, to the essence of who you are. Embrace the simplicity of this truth and let it guide you home. The light within you is always shining, always present, waiting for you to recognize it. So be still, be present, and let the laughter of enlightenment fill your soul.
Dear friend, picture yourself at the edge of a serene, expansive desert, its horizons stretching endlessly. As you observe the vastness, you notice how each grain of sand is unique, yet also a part of the greater whole. Similarly, we are individual expressions of universal consciousness, but many of us remain confined within the limits of our egos. Today, let us explore together the reason why the ego must die in order to attain true enlightenment. The illusion of the ego. The ego, dear seeker, is a construct of the mind. It is the collection of thoughts, memories, and identifications that we mistake for our true self. The ego tells us, I am this body, I am this name, I am these possessions, these achievements. Yet this sense of self is but a shadow, a pale reflection of the boundless, radiant being that you truly are. Consider the wisdom of the ancient scriptures. In the Bible, Jesus teaches us the importance of humility and surrendering the ego when he says, "For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." Matthew 16:25. This profound statement invites us to look beyond our limited sense of self and to discover the divine essence within. Similarly, the Bhagavad Gita, another timeless spiritual text, reveals, "The wise see that there is action in the midst of inaction and inaction in the midst of action. Their consciousness is unified and every act is done with complete awareness." Here, the Bhagavad Gita encourages us to transcend the ego and engage with life from a place of pure, undivided awareness. The chains of the ego. The ego binds us with invisible chains. It keeps us tethered to a cycle of desires, fears, and judgments. It whispers in our ears that we are separate from others, fostering feelings of isolation and competition. The ego thrives on comparison and attachment, constantly seeking validation and approval from the external world. Have you ever noticed how the ego is never satisfied? No matter how much success, wealth, or recognition we attain, there is always a lingering sense of lack, a void that cannot be filled. This is because the ego's desires are insatiable. They are like a bottomless pit that can never be fully satiated. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once wrote, "The most common form of despair is not being who you are. The ego, by convincing us that we are our roles, possessions, and titles, leads us away from our authentic self. It creates a false sense of identity, a facade that prevents us from experiencing the true depth of our being." The death of the ego. To be enlightened, we must let go of the ego. This does not mean eradicating it completely, for the ego has a practical function in navigating the world. Instead, it means disidentifying from it, seeing it for what it truly is, a tool, not the master. Buddha, the enlightened one, taught the practice of mindfulness and meditation as a path to transcend the ego. By observing our thoughts and emotions without attachment, we begin to see the transient nature of our experiences. We realize that we are the witness, the silent observer, beyond the ever-changing phenomena of the mind. Think of a clear blue sky. The ego is like the clouds that drift across it, sometimes dark and stormy, sometimes light and fluffy. But no matter how many clouds there are, the sky itself remains untouched, vast, and unchanging. In the same way, your true self is the clear sky, ever present and unblemished by the passing clouds of thoughts and emotions. The blossoming of true self. As we dissolve the ego, what emerges is our true self, a state of pure awareness, love, and compassion. This is not an abstract concept. It is a living reality experienced by many spiritual masters and seekers throughout history. Consider the example of Saint Francis of Assisi, who renounced his wealth and status to live a life of simplicity and service. In his humility, he found a profound connection with all of creation, seeing the divine in every being and every moment. His famous prayer, "Lord, make me an instrument of your peace," reflects a heart that has transcended the ego and is attuned to the higher consciousness. The phrase, "die before you die," is attributed to the Prophet Muhammad, though it has been popularized and widely quoted in Sufi literature, including the works of Rumi. This expression encapsulates the Sufi concept of experiencing a metaphorical death of the ego and worldly attachments in order to achieve spiritual enlightenment and a deeper connection with the divine. The path to enlightenment. Enlightenment is not a distant goal, attainable only by a select few. It is the natural state of our being, obscured by the layers of ego. The journey to enlightenment is a process of shedding these layers, of waking up to our true nature. Begin with self-inquiry. Ask yourself, who am I? Not as a rhetorical question, but as a deep, sincere investigation. Observe the thoughts and feelings that arise and see if you can find the one who is thinking and feeling. You will find that there is no solid, unchanging entity there, only awareness itself. Meditation is another powerful practice. Sit in stillness and observe your breath. As thoughts come and go, simply watch them without attachment. Over time, you will develop a sense of spaciousness, a realization that you are the awareness in which all thoughts and sensations arise and dissolve. Service to others is also a potent means of transcending the ego. When we act selflessly, we connect with the oneness of all life. In serving others, we serve ourselves, for in the deepest sense, there is no separation between the two. The death of the ego is not a loss, but a liberation. It is the shedding of a heavy cloak that has obscured your inner light. By letting go of the ego, you step into the fullness of your being, into a state of boundless love and peace. As you walk this path, remember that you are not alone. Countless souls have walked this journey before you, and countless more will follow. You are part of a vast, interconnected tapestry of life, each thread woven with care and purpose. So, take a deep breath, feel the warmth of the sun on your face, and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. The ocean of consciousness awaits you, ready to embrace you in its infinite depths. Let go of the ego, and let your true self shine. Have you ever felt like a traveler, endlessly wandering, seeking a place that feels like home? Perhaps you've been on this spiritual journey for some time, exploring various paths, reading countless books, attending numerous workshops, all in the quest to find something, anything, that will bring you the peace and fulfillment you so deeply desire. Today, I want to invite you to consider a radical yet profoundly simple idea. What if everything you've been searching for is already right in front of you? What if you are already home? Take a deep breath, feel the air entering your lungs, the rise and fall of your chest. In this very moment, you are alive, not just existing, but truly and vibrantly alive. This life force, this consciousness that animates your being, is not something you need to find outside of yourself. It is the very essence of who you are. You're not separate from the universe. You are an integral and inseparable part of it. Imagine for a moment a time when you felt completely at peace. Maybe it was during a quiet walk in nature, the gentle rustling of leaves underfoot, or a serene moment of stillness in meditation. Recall how your mind settled, how the incessant chatter of thoughts faded into the background. In that moment, you touched something timeless, something eternal. That peace, that stillness, is your true home. It's not a place you go to, it's a state of being. But how do we reconnect with this state of being in the midst of our busy, often chaotic lives? How do we find what's right in front of us when we are so conditioned to look elsewhere for answers and solutions? The answer lies in shifting our perspective, in realizing that the consciousness we seek is the very thing that is observing our search. By understanding that the observer within us holds the key, we can begin to see clearly and reconnect with our true state of being. Consider this: your mind is a tool, a remarkable instrument capable of incredible feats, but it is not you. Thoughts come and go, emotions rise and fall, but the one who observes them, that quiet presence, remains unchanged. This observer, this witnessing consciousness, is your true self. When you identify with this observer, rather than the thoughts and emotions that pass through your mind, you begin to see life from a place of stillness and clarity. Let's explore this further. Close your eyes for a moment and bring your attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of the air as it enters and leaves your nostrils. Don't try to change your breathing, just observe it. Now shift your focus to the sounds around you. What do you hear? The hum of a fan, the chirping of birds, distant traffic. Just listen. Finally, bring your awareness to your body. Feel the weight of your body against the chair, the touch of your clothes against your skin. What you're experiencing right now is pure presence. In this state, you are not thinking about the past or worrying about the future. You are simply here, in this moment, fully aware and deeply connected to everything around you. This is the essence of being, the very core of existence. This state of presence is where you find your true home, your place of inner peace and stillness, where the mind is quiet and the heart is open. It is in this serene state that you can truly experience the fullness of life and the profound tranquility that comes from just being. It's easy to get caught up in the stories our minds create, the narratives of who we think we are, what we believe we need to do, and where we imagine we need to go. Our minds are adept at spinning tales, constructing elaborate plots that can feel overwhelmingly real and urgent. But these stories are just that. Stories. They are constructs of the mind, not the truth of who you are. The truth of your being is found in the silent spaces between thoughts, in the quiet awareness that witnesses everything without judgment. This awareness, this presence, is the essence of your true self, untainted by the mind's endless chatter and narratives. Imagine living your life from this place of presence, where each moment is infused with mindful awareness. Imagine waking up each morning with a profound sense of peace, knowing deep in your heart that you are already complete, already whole. This doesn't mean that challenges and difficulties won't arise. They certainly will. However, when you face them from a place of inner stillness and tranquility, they lose their power to disturb you. Instead of reacting out of fear or anger, you respond with clarity, understanding, and compassion, handling each situation with grace and wisdom. You might be wondering, how do I maintain this state of presence in my everyday life? The key is to make presence a priority. It's about cultivating mindfulness in everything you do. When you eat, really taste your food, savoring each bite as if it were a new experience. When you walk, feel each step, the contact of your feet with the ground, the rhythm of your movement. When you listen to someone, give them your full attention, truly hearing their words without planning your response. By bringing this quality of awareness to your daily activities, you strengthen and deepen your connection to the present moment, allowing yourself to fully experience life as it unfolds. And when you find yourself getting lost in thought, gently bring yourself back to the present moment. Don't judge yourself for wandering or getting distracted. Simply notice it, and then return to your breath, your body, and the sounds around you. Each moment, no matter how fleeting, is an opportunity to return home to yourself and reconnect with your inner stillness. Remember, dear friend, that you are not alone on this journey. Every spiritual seeker, every enlightened being has walked this path before you. They have discovered that the peace and fulfillment they sought was within them all along. And so it is with you. You are already home. You are the consciousness, the life force that animates your being. Trust in this truth. Allow it to guide you. I want to leave you with a simple practice. Each day, take a few moments to sit in silence. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and just be. Don't try to achieve anything or get anywhere. Just sit and allow yourself to be present. As you do, you'll begin to notice that the peace and fulfillment you seek are not something you need to find. They are already within you. Embrace this truth, live from this place of presence, and remember, you are already home. In the depths of simplicity, you become one with the universe. This quest isn't about learning new things, but about unlearning what you've been taught. This is the power of simplicity. In this monologue, I want to invite you on a journey that will uncover the vastness of the universe within you. Imagine for a moment the gentle whisper of the wind, the stillness of a calm lake, and the serenity of a starry night. These uncomplicated moments can evoke a profound tranquility and a feeling of being connected to a larger entity. In our daily lives, we are bombarded with endless noise, distractions, and complexities. We identify ourselves with our jobs, our possessions, our relationships, and our achievements. We wear these identities like layers of clothing, each one adding to the weight we carry. But what if, for a moment, we could strip away these layers? What if we could find a place of stillness, free from the noise and chaos? In this place, we would find that we are not our thoughts, not our emotions, not our possessions. We are pure consciousness, boundless and infinite. The Bible conveys the wisdom of finding the divine within ourselves through a state of calmness and introspection. It can be found in the book of Isaiah 30:15. This is what the sovereign Lord, the Holy One of Israel, says. In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength, but you would have none of it. This verse emphasizes the importance of quietness and trust as sources of strength and salvation, echoing the sentiment of finding divine wisdom and peace within stillness. This is not a concept confined to religious texts. Philosophers and spiritual leaders throughout history have echoed this truth. Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher, said, "To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders." In stillness we find simplicity, and in simplicity we uncover the entire universe. Think about your daily routine. How often do you find yourself lost in thought, worrying about the future or dwelling on the past? These thoughts create a web of complexity, trapping us in a cycle of endless mental chatter. But when we quiet our minds, we begin to see the world with clarity. In the absence of thought, we experience the present moment fully. We become aware of the beauty in the simplest things, a flower blooming, a bird singing, the warmth of the sun on our skin. These moments of presence are gateways to the infinite. Imagine sitting quietly with no agenda, no expectations. Your mind becomes like a clear sky, free from the clouds of thought. In this space, you begin to feel a sense of expansiveness, a connection to everything around you. This is the essence of non-dualism, the realization that there is no separation between you and the universe. You are a part of the whole, and the whole is a part of you. This is not a theoretical concept, but a lived experience. In this state of oneness, there is no ego, no sense of I or me. There is only being, pure and simple. The journey to this state of simplicity is not about doing more, but about doing less. It is about letting go of our attachments, our need for control, and our incessant striving. It is about embracing the present moment with an open heart and a quiet mind. This may sound difficult, but it is within reach for all of us. Through practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and contemplation, we can cultivate this state of simplicity. We can learn to live from a place of stillness, where we are no longer defined by our thoughts or possessions, but by our essence. Consider the teachings of spiritual leaders like Rumi, the Sufi mystic, who said, "The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear." In the quietness of our being, we can hear the whispers of the universe. We can tune into the frequency of love, compassion, and wisdom that flows through all of creation. This is the gift of simplicity. It uncovers the profound interconnectedness of all things. It reveals the universe within us. As you undertake this quest of simplicity, remember that you are not alone. Many have walked this path before you, and many are walking it alongside you. Here at the Telos channel, you are part of a community of seekers, individuals who are dedicated to uncovering the truth of their being. In this community, you will find support, inspiration, and guidance. You will find that you are not just a solitary traveler, but a vital part of a collective awakening. Living from a place of simplicity requires courage and commitment. It requires us to question our assumptions, to challenge the status quo, and to embrace uncertainty. But in doing so, we find a freedom that is beyond anything we have ever known. We find a sense of peace that is unshakable, a joy that is boundless, and a love that is unconditional. We become like the lotus flower, rising above the mud to bloom in the light of our true nature. Think about the times when you have felt a deep sense of peace and connection. Perhaps it was during a walk in nature, a quiet moment of reflection, or a warm and genuine talk with a close companion. These moments are glimpses of the simplicity that is always available to us. They emphasize that we are not apart from the universe, but fundamentally intertwined with it. When we live from this place of simplicity, we illuminate the path for those around us. We radiate peace, love, and compassion to all we encounter. In the words of the Buddha, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. When we strip away the layers of complexity, we uncover the elegance and beauty of our true nature. We realize that we are not limited by our thoughts or our circumstances. We are limitless, boundless, and free. This is the gift of simplicity. It uncovers the universe within us and reveals the infinite potential of our being. As you make your way forward, remember to embrace the present moment with an open heart. Let go of your attachments and your need for control. Trust in the wisdom of the universe and know that you are exactly where you need to be. In the stillness of your being, you will find the answers you seek. You will illuminate the deep knowledge that you are one with the universe, and the universe is one with you. Simplicity is not just a concept, but a way of being. It is a return to our true nature, a realization of our oneness with all of creation. By embracing simplicity, we uncover the universe within us and connect with the infinite consciousness that pervades everything. This journey is not always easy, but it is the most rewarding path we can take. It leads us to a place of peace, joy, and love that is beyond anything we have ever known. So take a deep breath, let go of the noise and chaos, and step into the stillness. The universe is waiting for you. As we set foot on the path of spiritual awakening, we're embarking on a voyage that transcends time and space, a journey deeply personal, yet universally shared. This path doesn't adhere to a strict sequence. It meanders through the landscape of our souls, offering unique vistas to each traveler. Let's explore these stages, drawing wisdom from the well of humanity's spiritual heritage. The stirring within. Our journey commences with an inner awakening, a gentle yet insistent whisper that calls us to seek beyond the visible material world. This echo in our hearts is beautifully captured in the biblical invitation, "Be still and know that I am God," Psalms 46:10. This verse isn't merely an injunction to pause, but a profound call to recognize the divine essence within and around us. It marks the beginning of our quest, stirring the soul to seek deeper truths. The quest for understanding. With our hearts awakened by this call, we set out on a quest for understanding. Like the seekers before us, philosophers, mystics, and sages, we turn to the wisdom of sacred texts, the beauty of nature, and the silence within, searching for clues to the great mystery of existence. The Buddha's journey from the shelter of his royal life to the austerity of a seeker epitomizes this stage. His quest for enlightenment under the Bodhi tree is a testament to the human longing for truth and liberation from suffering. Moments of revelation. As we delve deeper into the quest, moments of revelation illuminate our path. These are glimpses of the divine, encounters with the ineffable reality that underlies all of existence. In the Hindu tradition, the Bhagavad Gita recounts Arjuna's moment of revelation on the battlefield, where Lord Krishna unveils his cosmic form, revealing the interconnectedness of all life. Such moments are transformative, offering us a vision of unity and divinity that challenges and expands our understanding of reality. The dark night of the soul. Yet, the path of awakening is not without its trials. The dark night of the soul, as described by St. John of the Cross, is a period of profound spiritual crisis. It's a stage where all previous understandings seem to crumble, leaving us in a void of doubt and despair. Like Job, we may find ourselves questioning the very foundations of our faith and existence. This dark night is a crucible, testing and purifying our spirit, leading to a deeper, more resilient faith. Integration and renewal. Emerging from the dark night, we enter a phase of integration and renewal. The lessons learned and the insights gained during our trials begin to permeate our being. This stage is akin to the Taoist ideal of becoming like water, flexible, humble, yet immensely powerful. It's a time of harmonizing our inner revelations with our outer lives, embodying the virtues of compassion, patience, and simplicity. Our spiritual insights become lived realities, guiding our actions and interactions. Living in service. The journey of awakening ultimately guides us to a life of service. Inspired by the Bodhisattva vow in Mahayana Buddhism, we commit to living not just for our own enlightenment, but for the benefit of all beings. This stage is about recognizing our interconnectedness and using our gifts, insights, and energies to alleviate suffering and spread compassion. It's a fulfillment of the spiritual journey where personal awakening blossoms into universal service. The spiral journey. It's essential to recognize that these stages of spiritual awakening are not linear. Our journey is more akin to a spiral, where we may revisit earlier stages from a deeper, more expansive perspective. Each cycle of the spiral brings new insights, challenges, and revelations, enriching our journey and drawing us closer to our true essence. This path of spiritual awakening is a journey without end, for the landscape of the soul is infinitely vast. Each step taken in awareness, each moment lived in truth, brings us closer to the realization of our deepest nature and the unity of all existence. As we walk this path, let us do so with open hearts and minds, supporting one another with compassion and understanding. Let us celebrate the diversity of our journeys, knowing that each unique path enriches the tapestry of human experience. And let us remember that though the journey is ours to walk alone, we are never truly separate from the love and wisdom that sustains us. In closing, my friend, know that the journey of spiritual awakening is the most profound adventure of our lives. It is a path of discovery, challenge, and deep joy. May your journey be blessed with insight, strengthened by courage, and guided by love. And may you find, in the depth of your own being, the peace and light that illuminate the world. As you tread this sacred path, remember that every experience, every challenge, and every moment of silence is a teacher guiding you towards your true self. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, speaks to us in whispers, in the roaring winds, and in the silence of the stars. Listening deeply, we find guidance and understanding. The ever-unfolding present. In the journey of awakening, the present moment becomes our most profound teacher. The realization that now is all there ever is transforms our perception of life. This understanding, echoed in the teachings of mystics and sages throughout time, invites us to live fully in each moment, to embrace life with a heart of gratitude, and to witness the sacred in the ordinary. Embracing uncertainty. As we venture further, we learn to embrace uncertainty, recognizing it as the fertile ground for spiritual growth. In the embrace of the unknown, faith deepens, trust in the journey strengthens, and our capacity for love expands. The realization that we are not the doers, but rather participants in the dance of creation, brings a profound sense of freedom and peace. The unity of being. At the heart of spiritual awakening is the realization of oneness. This understanding transcends intellectual comprehension. It is a lived experience of unity with all that is. The mystic poet Rumi invites us to dissolve the illusions of separation, to see beyond forms, and to recognize ourselves in each other and in all of existence. This realization of non-duality brings with it a profound sense of compassion and a desire to live in harmony with the natural world. The journey home. Ultimately, the journey of spiritual awakening brings us home, to the essence of who we truly are, beyond names, forms, and fleeting identities. This homecoming is not a return to a place we have left, but an awakening to the truth of our eternal presence. Here, in the stillness of being, we discover that we are the love, peace, and joy we have been seeking. As you continue on your path, know that the journey itself is the destination. Each step, each breath, each moment is an opportunity to awaken more fully to the beauty of your true nature. Let your heart be your compass, your inner light, your guide. May your journey be blessed with the courage to face the shadows, the strength to embrace change, and the wisdom to recognize the gifts of each moment. May you walk gently upon the earth in peace and with love, knowing that every step is a step towards awakening. And so, my friend, as we walk this path together yet alone, let us hold space for each other's journeys, offering support, understanding, and love. For in the mirror of each other's souls, we see our own reflection, and in the depths of our own hearts, we find the connection that binds us all. Thank you for being here. If you resonate with this, subscribe, comment, and give a like. Until next time, love, light, and blessings to you.